Welcome back to Access Anime. I'm Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough review of Btooom, Episode 6. Now, if you remember from last episode, Sakamoto has actually caught up with Himiko, and they were about to fight, but, the fight was short-lived because, sadly, Himiko ends up stunning herself with her own weapon, but kind of by accident when she was actually attacking Sakamoto. Now, Sakamoto ends up bringing Himiko back with him with Tiara, and they have like a little bonfire, and they start talking, and then Himiko finally awakes, but her body's still very stunned, so it's not really useful. And before they can really have more of an open conversation, they're being attacked by these lizards known as Komodo dragons, and that's where the last episode actually ended. But again, this is a new episode, so let's dive right in. And again, I'll keep my comment and my rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's get started. Let's get started. I'm an eager beaver. Can't believe I just said that. I'll just start. We open up this episode with Himiko, Sakamoto, and Tiara trying to outrun the Komodo dragon. So pretty much where we left off from last episode, which is a great start. So there's no little extra crap thrown in. Now, apart from that, we see Sakamoto actually attempting to attack the Komodo dragons, but he's using Kira's BIMs. If you remember correctly, the ones that Kira, that little psycho kid, was using. Yeah, Sakamoto actually has them. Remember, he ended up taking all of his bombs and food and whatnot. Now, sadly, when he throws them at the Komodo dragons, which were attacking Tiara and Himiko, because they're on top of a rock, they don't do anything. And I was wondering, okay, shouldn't they work? Now, we actually get a little bit of information why they don't work. Apparently, if you steal bombs off of someone and they're still alive, they don't work for you. So, it doesn't matter if Kira is alive right now, those bombs are useless. Now, there's a catch. If you actually want to use them and the user's still alive, just get them to turn the bomb on, and you can still use it. Now, sadly, Kira is still alive, but he's not with the group, so all of his bombs that Sakamoto has are useless. So you see these Komodo dragons trying to tear off the limbs off of poor Tiara, so that was kind of sad. He's like taking all this pain and whatnot. Now, the BIMs, I would have thought, bigger explosion or something, but I saw Sakamoto throw it and, yeah, nothing. I was like, run, Sakamoto, run! Nah, but again, the Komodo dragons they're following the group now as they're running, and they're just like running, and we see, we do a little flashback, I guess, of Tiara, and basically how he was good with his family but bad with his not his business partners, but the customers that came in to see him. So he feels that maybe one of his customers may have outed him to be in this game. So that's kind of interesting. But again, the lizards appear out of nowhere and the group kind of splits up. So now the group is like, you see Tiara, he kind of ducks out and starts running. Now at this point in time, I thought, here we go. Now we see Tiara's true color. He's abandoning Himiko and Sakamoto, and he's going his other way. He's got the foods, and he's got the bombs. So, this is perfect, because he has Himiko's BIMs, but he doesn't know he can't use them because she's still alive. And I'm like, figures. He ran the first chance he got when he had everything perfectly planned out. And you see Sakamoto, he's freaking out, he's thinking, I'm like, oh, here we go. He's got his nuclear meltdown. He's like, calls Tiara pretty much out. He's like, you traitor, I was like, this don't look good, man. But you see a flying grenade come out of nowhere. It literally was flying, and it was like a homing beacon, and it just blew up one of the Komodo dragons. And we find out Tiara actually came back. Now, this whole time while Tiara was gone, you see Sakamoto trying to ping his location with his radar, with the crystal. Now, if you remember last time he tried using that on Kira, they were kind of canceling each other out so they couldn't find each other. Well, that's what was happening between Tiara and Sakamoto. Every single time they were using their radars to find each other, it was canceling out. So it would appear that Tiara was actually running away when he wasn't. He was actually trying to find them. And he used his BIMs, his bomb, and it was like a homing beacon, and it was just zoning in on the Komodo dragons to blow them to smithereens. Now again, Tiara is back, and he's like, yeah, I'd never leave you. So now we know Tiara's true colors. He is a great person, regardless of what we been seeing in these past episodes with him collecting these crystals, right now, he is one hell of a friend to have right now, because you know what? He came back. He didn't have to. In fact, he could let these kids die and take his 2 crystals, because right now there are 6 crystals in total between them. So, think about it. He only had 2 more crystals to go. But instead he decided, I'm going to help him. So he does. He ends up helping Himiko and Sakamoto. Now, again, we see his new... We haven't seen his bombs before, but they are homing beacons. All he has to do is, I guess, try like zoning them in, like having a picture of his target with these little bombs, and they fly away and they just, blow whatever the target is right out. But again, the explosion they make is really not that severe, so they're kind of a weak type of weapon, in my opinion. Now, we're finally out of the forest. It's a different scene. They're out of the forest, they see a house, and like they just ran straight for it. But as you know, Tierra, if I didn't mention this, his leg has been bitten, so he's been lipping. Yeah, so he's been not poisoned badly, but Komodo dragons kind of have like they can poison you if they bite you. He had a couple good bites in his leg, so he doesn't look so good right now, but it's not really affecting him just yet. But again, they reach the house and they're trying to go up the ladder, and everyone falls and lands on Tierra, and then Tierra notices the Komodo dragons are coming after them, so he's like, you know what, save her. I'm gonna be the decoy. He goes up, starts attacking them, and before you know it, I was like, Sakamoto, he couldn't get this girl up, he couldn't use her bombs or anything. What's he gonna do? She's still unconscious, and all you see is he just loses it. It's like a WTF moment. He leaves the girl, because he was supposed to bring her up on the rooftop, and it looks like he's abandoning Tierra and Himiko. I was like, what? I didn't even see this coming. But it's not what it seems. So I was like, wow. He actually took Himiko's grenade. I said grenade. Her bomb, her BIM. Now remember, it's not going to work since she's alive, so he can't operate it. But instead, he ends up putting the bomb in her hand and starting it. He gets up on the roof and he throws it. And he tells Tierra to get back to the building, because it's the actual gas. If you remember, it's the one with poison, toxic gas inside of it, and it actually kills the Komodo dragons right away. And because they're so close to the sea, the wind coming in is saving them from the toxic reaching the house. Now, Tierra has no idea what the heck's happening, and he calls Sakamoto out saying, traitor. Like, what the heck? I've lost all faith in you. But he had to actually apologize later on, because he was wrong. He was just trying to, Sakamoto was just trying to, this was his own technique. This was what he came up with in the last moments, because he couldn't bring Himiko up to the rooftop. But again, I thought he was so going to leave these guys to die. This was a perfect turning point. We had 2 turning points in this episode. So this was like a kind of like a little mind, you know what I mean, right? But, wow. And again, Himiko, she's still slightly passed out, but we see Tierra, his leg, after Himiko wakes up, she's more conscious now, and you see Tierra, his leg, and you see Sakamoto coming back. They're helping everyone inside, and they're more relaxed. Yeah, Tierra's leg acts up, and he kind of passes out a little bit, so he's not doing well at all. Now we find out a little more, we do a little cutscene, actually, where we see, if you remember correctly, the company that's pretty much watching over this island, they're a Japanese corporation. We get to see, looks like a security guard or someone that's monitoring like multiple monitors, these camera monitors of the island. And you see that guy, that chubby guy with the red cap that Sakamoto actually knows. He comes in and he's like, so how's Sakamoto doing? And he's like, yeah, it seems he's forming some allies, and he's only killed 1 guy so far. It's like, that's all we get to know. There's a lot of information there, just that they are being monitored. And apparently the guy in the baseball cap, the chubby guy, actually knows Sakamoto. So I'm wondering if they were on the same Btooom team on the game online, or maybe Sakamoto was the one that actually had a job job interview with this guy's corporation. And we don't know. Now again, go to a different scene. We see Himiko and Sakamoto, and after they get Tierra under control, they disinfect his leg. because apparently Himiko has to get over this hating guys thing because it's not working. It's not working because so she snaps out of it and she helps Tiara with his leg by pinning him down while Sakamoto disinfects his leg. So now Tiara should feel better. But before we go any further, Sakamoto pretty much stops everything altogether. He's like, Miko, we can't do this anymore. You gotta tell me more about you. Like, why are you like this? I mean, you have all those bombs and you can use them because obviously you can't use them if these people are still alive, and you can use them, so we know you're a murderer. And he's like, I will not go any further. I will not turn my back unless you tell me more about you. Because, you know, as soon as I turn my back, you could kill me. So I was like, this kid is exactly, he's saying what we are trying to say as the viewers. This is what we're trying to come up with. Like, Himiko, you gotta tell him the truth here. I mean, you're part of his group, even though you said you don't want to be. And Sakamoto and Tiara are now, they both really want to know. But before we really get into it, they've been detected. Like, you see a radar go off. And now Sakamoto and Tiara, they haven't been moving, so they weren't pinged. Now, Himiko, she has been pinged. And she mentions to Sakamoto, yeah, I moved. They got me. I've been noticed. And she's like, I'll just grab my things and leave. You know, I'm just going to cause you guys chaos. And Sakamoto rises to the challenge. He's like, you know what? We'll finish this discussion later. I'll be the decoy since they only think one person is here. And that's where the episode actually ends. So this really, really got interesting. Now, for final thoughts, I got a couple. First of all, who pinged them? Who pinged them? Was it Kira? Maybe. Oda? Maybe. We don't know. We got a couple contenders still on the island. Now, also, I actually want to know how many crystals do these other guys actually have? Not just among, you know, this small little threesome alliance going on here. Well, possible alliance if Himiko actually jumps on board. But that's one of my final thoughts. Another one is these BIMs, all these bombs. I'm wondering, what are all the bombs totaled right now? Like, we only know a handful of them. I'm wondering, is that the limit? Is that all we're going to get to know? Or are there some more unique ones we haven't seen yet? I mean, I'm curious. I know you're curious. I'm curious. I want to know more about this Japanese corporation, which we know nothing about, and we know nothing about how they selected all these people. So I'm kind of interested to know that. Now, before I forget, while they were in this house, I should point out Sakamoto found what looks like a blood splatter, and it wasn't fresh, and he's coming under the assumption. I'm wondering if they've played on this island before. Other people have been playing on this island. So that's an interesting thing to bring up. But that is it for my final thoughts. As for my rating, I was going to give this a 3.5 out of 5 because I did not see any real live action, but because of the drama and everyone thinking they're against each other, made it kind of spicy. Not in like an attractive way when I watch anime, but I'm just like, you know, I was kind of interested to see where it went, and it was very fascinating, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, plain and simple, because it definitely kept me motivated to keep watching more, and that's the whole point. So, again, 4 out of 5, definitely. Now, I still have 2 more walkthroughs and reviews to do, but I'm probably only going to do one tonight and load it up tomorrow, and then do another one tomorrow. So that's where I stand there. But again, this ends it for my walkthrough review of Btooom episode 6. Comment down below, thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe above, and definitely comment. Let me know what you think and what you think of the next episode. Like, any ideas on what you think might happen next? Comment down below, let me know. Subscribe above if that's what you love. And again, follow me on Twitter and check me out on Twitter if you want. But that ends it for now, and before I go, I gotta say it. Can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.